So they retaliated against an alien base under the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And we reported on it, sort of, but I'm giving you the final details. It wasn't reported. So go in and read the report. Ladies and gentlemen, on the front of my website under breaking news.
Going back to a step.
It was Paul. They said, Chris, what's that?
Yeah. Going back to when Bush and Cheney was still in office, do you recall the airplane that was taking off out of Texas that was stopped by one of the military generals that carried 2 nuclear bombs that were headed for Iran? You remember that story?
I think I heard something about that, and then you had some nuclear weapons we reported on that were flown here in the U.S., you know.
Yeah,
That's Air Force, matter of fact, did it, and remember it was down south they delivered it someplace.
Yeah, so in other words, they when Bush and Cheney were in office, they were setting to do a horrendous false flag to shut the country down. Now they've come up with this swine flu, and they plan on a pandemic. I mean, I was listening to the radio the other day, and I don't normally listen to media, but you had claimed on your website and other people that were 50,000 already dead from swine flu, and the government reports what, 9,000 or something like that?
Well, I heard when I heard on the 50,000 number, which is true and accurate, I've gotten confirmed, but it was 10,000 that the government's admitting to.
Right.
And see, they're building this up, Chris. Here's what they're going to do. It's the new boogeyman. Got to have a boogeyman.
Yeah.
Boogeyman kills people. Oh, wow. But where's the boogeyman? Oh, we just gave you a virus. Ladies and gentlemen, the American people, you budsters, as George Bush would call you, George Herbert Walker Bush, the broke, useless, and depressed, the bud people, he called you. He thinks he's a god, the king and queens, you know. Mm-hmm. They are kings and queens in their own mind, okay? They're evil. Excuse me, they are very evil, okay? Mm-hmm. And they need to be destroyed, in my opinion. Every one of them. The whole network needs to be destroyed.
Well, if we don't do something, if something doesn't happen, and I think it will, I mean, our other radio host who's on, this network, Al Cuppett, former Joint Chiefs of Staff out of the Pentagon, retired.
Well respected. I like him.
Yeah, I do too. He was talking, he spoke many times about the NATO forces brought in here under Project Harmony, which was the name of that operation, which still exists now, and how he's been reporting for a few years how they're literally in our infrastructure in many different states and, committing covert acts with the knowledge of the government, the creation of the FEMA camps, these internment areas, and all this other stuff. I mean, the pandemic.
More than George Bush and all that crowd when Bush was vice president, see?
Right.
But they created FEMA wasn't even created as a Federal Emergency Management Agency. It was all done with drug money from Iran-Contra. And Private Tyree still to this day is in prison for supposedly killing his wife he had nothing to do with because she was going to go public, and he was going to go public about it. And he finally did. He actually filed a lawsuit showing that FEMA wasn't even a federal agency. And then they suddenly next day it was made one. But this was years later. Right. They had it in place. And it was all part of the Treasonous Acts back then in the 80s and the 90s.
All the tools in
it's always the same people every time, but the Justice Department covers everything up because they have the power to appoint another satanic criminal. Look at John Ashcroft. We mentioned him earlier in our posting, the latest one a few days ago. Bush frauds, mental collapse, and D-Day coming. And but look at what's in there, and you'll see that we're pretty accurate on what's going on here. And I'll tell you, Chris, no, the information I got on this is 50,000 people are dead. Kids died all over. The contacted flew out of the summer camps, the Christian summer camps, the 1 week, 2 week summer camp type stuff, the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts. Kids were dying everywhere. They were coming down with this stuff. They're dead all across this country. 50,000 people the CDC knows about and is not reporting on. And they're hiding 40,000 deaths right now. It's some serious matter. This is to stop the American people from an uprising, to stop anything against their New World Order. I got plans for them, Chris, and most of the people that I know, which is just the average Joe American out there on the street, and Jane Doe out there on the street, don't like what's happening. They don't like their government and its leadership and the direction that we've gone for the past 30, 40, 50 years. They don't like it, and it's come to a point that everybody knows that soon, when these deaths occur, the ex-military top chiefs, ex-U.S. intelligence officers, including current active people, know what is going to go down. And then when they think, the top level thinks, the Bush crowd that's controlling Obama's stooge, that they can just kill all these people and something won't be done? No.
We're running slightly past our half.
We will have an uprising within the government's own people who will defend the Constitution and our way of life against what's coming. And as they see these deaths come on more and realize this was an operation, because we're the only ones that reported, me and the Heneghan.
Well,
and as you see these numbers rise, which could be in the tens of millions, to stop an uprising against them. Why? Because they are politically collapsed, and they have financially collapsed and destroyed and looted our treasury. And we're all up our ass now in debt, 70 grand apiece because of what's being reported on the bailout alone for every man, woman, and child. They're going to dig in taxes on you for the next 20 years. And they already got the money in their pocket. It already happened. Now, they know that there's going to be a problem. There's no pension funds. There's not going to be any Social Security. The government's barely selling treasuries for the past couple of weeks because China doesn't want to buy them, their government, their banks. Britain doesn't have any money to buy. France doesn't want to buy them. The European nation doesn't want to buy them. Nobody wants them. So we have a problem. Their problem they created on our backs. And they know that the people will uprise soon against them if these people aren't brought to justice. Just like George W. Bush, war criminal, he needs to be brought to justice. And Cheney assassination teams, and Clinton and all of them that were involved. Goes way back. George Herbert Walker Bush set the shit up when he was CIA director back in the mid-70s. Or mid-80s. I mean, mid-70s.
Look at some of their counter programs. Look at some of the counter programs they put into place. A Joint Terrorist Task Force unit where they're training local cops and, FEMA members to do urban pacification, which is to
They've already done that. They already got Joint Task Force groups. That's what the FBI set up. And that was the target under supposedly counterintelligence. Target patriotic Americans like me and you that are getting fed up with what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. These are the people who are out on the street.
So they got some cop from this county, and they got some sheriff over here from this county, and they got some cop from this city, and they got another one from this city, surrounding cities. Say if it's like Denver, they got a half a dozen of them, or actually a dozen of them with the different counties and cities and everything around them.
Right.
And they're part of that Joint Task Force group. So really, they're on the payroll of through government grants anyway, through that county officially, but they're acting as stooges for them to go around and intentionally bring under false arrest people such as yourself and me. I mean, I've had it done so many times in the past, but they don't do it anymore because they know that if they do, I beat them up anyway. Never have been convicted of anything, but yet I've been arrested 30-some-odd illegal times. But they think they won't go that route. If they go that route, they got a problem because I got a grand jury going to go happen right on the spot, and they know that. And so, but, I don't do anything illegal anyway, Chris. Never have in my life. I've always tried to, live by the basic 10